welcome to OSG Live, where we inspire you to fall in love with your business. Get set to join your hosts, Tanya, Becky, Kylene, and Aaron for your weekly motivation. It's time to share your wins, express gratitude, and choose positive changes. Jump into the comments and share your thoughts with the rest of the OSG community. Coming up, OSG Wellness Super Tools to nourish your mind and body, small business success gems to uncover hidden gems of business excellence, and the uncommon mindset to challenge the status quo. Your journey to success and happiness starts now.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Seems like it's been like the longest week ever, but also the shortest week ever. I don't know how that works, but my name's Tanya Deutscher, and I'm with Gracie B. Doodle Designs, and I believe you can choose what you need as often as you need it.
And I'm Kylene Montgomery with Rise, Shine, Smile.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery with our Success Group, and we are here to inspire you to fall deeper in love with your business. And I think you're right. It does feel a little off, right? Like it was like, man, that Wednesday seemed a long time ago, but then it was like that Wednesday seemed yesterday. So yes, I don't know how that works. So if somebody understands that, please let us know. I wanted to start off here, you guys, and just encourage everybody who is tuned in live, or if you're watching the replay, we want to have conversation with you guys, right? We've got things to share. We're here with some ideas, but really this is about interacting with the OSG community and just, kind of rising tide that lifts all boats. So before Kylene, you jump in with how we normally get started here, which I can't wait for. Darren said, good morning. Forgot to set my alarms. They're running so late. Darren, maybe you just need a little extra sleep, buddy. You got this. Don't worry. You're going to make it happen. And Chuck tuned in this morning saying good morning. And we've got Darren here saying good morning. And we also have a Facebook user joining us. So I'll go check and see. But if you want to go to osg.link/Facebook, that will actually get you to where we can see you, even though you're inside the group. And I don't know I can't remember what the date was, Tanya, but we might not be able to do this through the group. So we'll just have to share from the public page here soon. So
yes, sorry, here, just a second. I'm caught on there we go. Oh my gosh.
It happens.
My dogs have been sick all week, but they decided just to have like this play romping session behind me. So if you heard all kinds of rustling and growling, that was them. That's why I picked her up, because it will quickly turn bad. Goodness.
Oh, all good. All good.
All good.
So Kylene, go ahead and take us there.
All right. So we need to start our show with some positivity. And so we're going to start with gratitude. And we start with gratitude because when we are in that state of gratitude, we are in a state of appreciation. So really, gratitude is like our superpower. If we choose to appreciate the things that we have in our life, we can attract more good things to us. And that brings us to a higher vibration and more positivity. And we want to bring as much as we can to the show this morning and to all of you. So if you are listening to us, please share your gratitude with us. What are you grateful for today? I know today I am very grateful for opportunities that arise. It's fun to see them come your way and having the courage to say yes. So grateful for that.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I am grateful for my dogs. Like I said, my dogs have been sick. It's been a little bit of a scary week. And for them to actually be playing is pretty amazing. I can't let them play too much because then they'll start to fight. So mixed blessings there. But I'm also very grateful for friends, connections, and things like that. And that's going to lead into the wellness toolbox. But I'm very fortunate to have my tribe behind me.
Awesome.
Love it. Well, I am extremely grateful for just opportunity. I think being able to get out and share my passion, what I just like. I barely sleep. I wake up in the middle of the night. I think about it all day. I drive my wife crazy with it. It's just, how can we inspire people to have a business that they love? And I'm just grateful for all the opportunities that brings when you are willing to kind of put yourself out there, So I'm doing webinars this week. I'm going to a networking event today. Have got to share in different, been invited to different places. I actually had something happen where they need somebody to kind of fill in last minute in a speaking gig. And they thought of me, and I was like, yeah, cool. I can figure it out. Let's do this. Right. If you want me to share my passion, I don't need a whole lot of prep time for that. So I'm ready. Let's do this. So that's what I'm grateful for there. And, as Kylene said, what are you guys grateful for? We always love to get into that. Darren said, it's going to be a day, but I'll make the best of it. I love it.
You got it.
Darren's got that positive attitude going. And I think Tanya, Kylene, I can't remember which one of you guys, but somebody shared, you got this, Darren. So, and then I was in Facebook, but now here. Good morning, all. So thank you for being here. And good morning, Asia. Great to have you along, and good morning to Michelle as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning in this morning. We're really looking forward to talking to you guys, and like I said, looking forward to hearing what you are grateful for as well. But all right, well, while everybody's kind of getting settled in with that and sharing what they're grateful for, we'll make sure that we cover it all. But you guys also have a really awesome wellness super tool here that we're gonna, we need to dive into that toolbox, and you guys are going to be talking about the power of relationships and how to manage those. So I can't wait for that if you guys are ready.
We're ready.
All right, here we go.
Hello.
Hello again.
Well, I'm excited for this topic. I think that bringing awareness to your relationships is really important. Sometimes we just kind of go through the motions, right? And the people around us are the people around us. But it's really important to understand why they are so important in our life, but also be aware of, some warning signs, maybe this isn't a fulfilling connection. And so we're going to talk about that too.
Absolutely. I used to always take this for granted, like things happen and it's just the way it's supposed to be type thing. And once I started being intentional with who I gave my time to and vice versa, things just got better. Not that I intentionally cut anyone out. Well, a couple of times I have, because sometimes you need to. But on an overall basis, some people, you would just get those feelings of, maybe this person isn't genuine. And I would, be a little bit more reserved with them. I give myself fully to those who I have those good relationships with. So
I would agree with that. I do see you. You give a lot. Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries. Well, so let's start with the benefits of relationships, because truly as humans, we like to be connected. We like to have that sense of belonging, and having that support from others, that feeling of connection. It really does elevate our feelings of self-worth, brings more positive feelings, and therefore we have more happiness. And I think that's probably what we're all striving for, right? Is to bring as much joy into our life as we can.
Absolutely. Human connections play such a significant role in contributing to your happiness. We're not meant to be, solitary beings, unless, of course, you're very introverted. But then I would still encourage you to try to find, a few people, because you really can't go through life with just yourself. That would be so lonely to me. It also can affect your emotional and physical well-being. Feeling supported, connected, and belonging. It helps positivity, your self-worth, and it helps your neurobiological factors, such as oxytocin release, social interactions. It promotes calmness and reduces stress. And it allows us to connect at a deeper level, building trust. I know that when I have, I'm having a moment or something, I have my people that I can reach out to, Becky, you, some other people in some other communities. And it just is comforting to know that I can reach out like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, when the oxytocin is released, it promotes the calm. So what does that do? It releases the stress.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you are in that state of calm, you are able to be more present with the people that you're interacting with, and you're developing that level of trust, like you said, and you just have stronger bonds with people, and therefore that increases your overall wellness, because you are connected and you are truly feeling seen and important in that relationship. So I love that. So like I said at the beginning, we're humans. We're wired for connection, even from when we were first born. Our connection with our parents, it's part of our survival. And so really understanding that this is something that starts right when we're created. But it's also important to remember it's not just, romantic relationship. It's all your relationships that you have: family, friends, coworkers, business partners, your networking groups, your mastermind groups, your even strangers, smiling at someone or holding the door for them. You're building that connection, even though you might not know that person, but they feel seen, right? It's like an act of kindness, and it's really powerful. So I just wanted to point out, like, those are really important things. Like, we need to nurture those relationships as much as we can. And even gratitude comes into play there, right? Appreciating those that you do have in your life.
Absolutely.
It's really important.
And Aaron just said your success team. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We all need our teams behind us. And I think people who want to own a relationship and not like I can be friends with her, but you can't, those are so unhealthy. I have found that being able to be friends with a wide variety of people and not like hold ownership, because you can't own someone, but some people try, and it becomes a negative thing down the road. Those are so important to have your team and pick out those right people. So what characterizes a healthy relationship? They are by mutual support, authenticity, vulnerability, shared enjoyable experiences. And another one that I just thought of is being able to speak the truth to that person with, they might be hurt or, annoyed at first, but being able to take that, either criticism or comment or whatever, and not have it blow up to be, I'm never going to talk to you again or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that is a very healthy way.
Yeah. It's having those difficult conversations, and trusting that you can say something that could potentially, not that you're intentionally trying to hurt that person, but they could perceive it that way. But having the trust in the relationship that you can say what's really happening instead of just trying to say whatever's going to keep the peace.
Right.
For me, Aaron and I do have hard conversations a lot, and it's okay. It took me a while though to get there. Aaron's a very good communicator, as you know, but because I wanted to keep the peace. That was, that's kind of was my role growing up. I was the peacekeeper, and I love harmony. That's my number one strength, right? But I still have to be seen, and I still have to be able to share. And so we're talking about this so you guys will feel comfortable. If you're not willing to have those difficult conversations, know that it's worth it. If the people that you have surrounded yourself with are the right people, they're going to be okay with those difficult conversations, and you'll be even closer as a result of them.
And if they're not okay with those hard conversations, then that's kind of a sign that maybe you need to, either rethink or have another conversation. I was always the peacekeeper too, and that's been to my detriment over the years. And now finally I can have some of those hard conversations. And actually Jay says I'm kind of a monster sometimes because I want to have those hard conversations maybe too soon in certain situations where I have been working on stepping back and like trying to see everyone's point of view before I just verbally vomit all over everyone and make everyone mad. So it's a whole learning process, and it's taken me years, but I am much better off because I'm not holding everything in anymore.
Yep.
So
I think that's huge. Some people are going to be uncomfortable with it. And so you're going to have to, if that person in your life is really that important person, meet them where they're at, and then, talk to them about where you'd like to see the conversation go or what you feel like you need. Because if you go all in and, that person's going to close up, and it might not be a successful conversation.
Yeah. And for me, taking a pause and like really thinking about how I want to approach it instead of just flying off the handle or saying something that I'm going to regret has been a learning process too. And it's an important learning process.
Yeah.
So a couple of other benefits before we get to kind of the negative stuff or the things to watch out for. Darren says, I understand where you're coming from, Kylene. I was always the peacekeeper, and it's hindered a lot of things. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you have to find that balance and kind of, practice. I tend to practice with my husband quite a bit because I know he's going to be fine no matter what. He might be a little bit hurt or whatever, but you find you do it with your people that you trust first, and then you can better handle the situations with outside people.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to get outside of your comfort zone a little bit to do it when it's not a natural thing. If you didn't grow up having those conversations, it is kind of scary. You're like, am I going to run this person away from me? Am I going to, create drama? And I don't want drama, right? You just think of like the negatives instead of looking at all the positives that actually really result from it.
Absolutely. And then Michelle says, I live by my in-laws, and it's been easier to keep things in than say anything. And, that works for a while, but overall, it's going to make everyone unhappy when, things finally come out and, something finally like snaps or the wrong thing gets said, then that's going to make it harder in the long run. So maybe do some little practice sessions with your people, and, or if you're not ready for that, at least like journal about it and things like that to try to get your emotions out. Because as a recovering people pleaser, keeping things in is just very, very hard on your mental and physical being. It just takes a toll over time.
Yeah, it eats away at you inside, and then stress is created, and then that stress comes out in some form, right? And sometimes that form comes out as pain. Sometimes that form comes out in an illness. It comes out in our mood. So, we want to show up. We deserve to show up our best selves every day. And so, writing it out is a really good tip. I like that.
Absolutely. So being present in your relationships, actively listening, honoring connections, those are both vital for building the trust with people. And then if you're lonely, that can have adverse effects on your health. Emotional loneliness manifesting similar to a physical pain. It's seen as a protective mechanism to encourage social connection. I know for me, if I'm feeling lonely, depressed, not reaching out to people, it does manifest itself in pain and fatigue. And I don't want to go back there. So I've kind of figured out that stress, loneliness, keeping things inside, and sugar are like poisons to me. So I have to do things to get those out so that I can be a healthy person.
Yeah, I love that. So we know why relationships are important, and all the wonderful things that happens to us when we do have those good, strong relationships and we nurture them. Just be aware of some of the toxic, one-sided relationships that can show up in our life. And sometimes they're put there not by our choice, but sometimes it is by our choice. So when you notice it, decide how you want to move forward. And we're going to just quickly talk about some of the things to be aware of. But I think deep down, I don't know about you, but we know in our gut if someone is just not the right fit for us, we know. And so just being aware and trusting yourself.
Absolutely. One thing is lack of respect, disregard for your boundaries, feelings, or autonomy, belittling or demeaning behavior. Those are definitely red flags.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the manipulative behavior, the control that you were talking about at the beginning, sometimes you might not see it right away, but when you do see it, it's time to do something about it.
Yes. One-sidedness. I think we've all had those experiences in the past where someone just shows up whenever they want or need something. And that doesn't feel very good. And also if there's constant negativity, I know that there's been a few people that I've met, even in the last year or so, that if they're constantly negative and, I've talked to them and try to, cheer them up. If it becomes so emotionally draining for me that I'm not going to be mean to them, but I'm definitely going to take my time back and not pursue the relationship as often because it has to be mutually beneficial for me too. And that negativity brings me down.
Yeah. We don't like negativity here, do we?
No.
It definitely just brings out that fear. It just brings out the scarcity. It brings out all the things that don't allow us to thrive and grow. So I'm very sensitive to that as well.
Well, and when you're empathetic, you take on those feelings. And so then you walk away and you just feel drained and, having those same feelings. And it's okay, this isn't working for me. They need more than what I can give. So I need to walk away and go be with people that are going to fill my cup as much as I fill theirs.
Yeah. Because that's draining that energy. We know when you're around someone and their energy they're giving off is just exhausting to you. I know that sometimes I have some counseling meetings and I work really hard to make it productive and positive, but sometimes people just aren't quite there yet, and that's okay. But you do have to offset that and come back to fill your cup back up after those interactions. And just, limit it if you can. It's really important.
Absolutely. So next up is boundary violations. If someone's disregarding your personal boundaries, that's definitely a red flag. I know for me, if someone that I don't know very well just shows up at my house or my business and wants to just sit and chit chat or whatever, and it can come in other forms of personal boundaries too, inappropriate, touch, showing up more often than's appropriate. So that's definitely a red flag. And then also dishonesty and betrayal, lying, deceit, betrayal of trust. If you are just finding that, something's not adding up, they're saying one thing, doing another, or they're saying one thing and then contradicting themselves, just beware of those things.
Yeah. So, and I think with all of this, it's setting those boundaries. We've talked about that before on here, but boundaries are really important. So knowing what's important to you is going to help you as you are managing these toxic people potentially in your life. Seek the support of the people that are there for you. Know that you're not alone. We need to feel connected, as we talked about. That's what this is all about. So taking those steps to protect your mental and emotional well-being is huge. And then bringing in that self-care when you need it, because we need to fill our cup up so we can show up in a positive way for ourselves.
Absolutely. So isolation and control. I kind of talked about this a little while ago, but people who attempt to isolate you from having other friendships or relationships, definitely a red flag. No one should possess another person. You can have multiple friend groups, multiple close relationships, and that's okay. And if someone's trying to have excess control over your life choices, and they're not in a position to try to influence you, like your spouse or whatever, but even that, you still need to have some autonomy on your decision making process.
Yeah.
So those are things to just definitely be aware of. And then the last one, before we kind of close up, is draining energy. If you feel drained after interactions, kind of examine that to find out, why. Is someone setting red flags off with you? Is it just, their personality and you need to limit the time with them, that they're still a good person? But some people you need to take in small doses. I have family members like that. And if they increase your stress or negativity, those are huge things for me that, I really don't, I need to limit my time with you. I know since I'm active on TikTok, there are times if someone's on a live that I won't go participate in that live if I know that someone's on there that's just going to be completely negative and draining, because I need my peace. And so I don't want to go and step into that position.
Yeah. Yeah. That's important. So all in all, overall, I think we understand the importance of human impact and human connection and the effect it has on our overall happiness and our health and just well-being. And so we really need to cultivate those positive relationships in our life, be intentional about it, and choose, using your word, Tanya, choose the people that we get to surround ourselves with. We all have the same amount of time. So how we choose to use it, it's up to us. And so make the best of it, protect yourself, and know that it's really important to nurture those relationships that you do have in your life.
Yep. I'm going to throw up a couple comments here from Michelle. Hold on. Oh, this one's from Aaron. I love the signs to be aware, but what I really want to hear is how you cultivate the relationships that don't have the red flags. What is the solution? There can be many. And Kylene, do you have any thoughts while I kind of gather mine?
Yeah. So, think about like appreciation. We need to be clear about what's important to us, so then we can attract those people to us. And then when they're in our life, we need to nurture that relationship. We need to have those difficult conversations if needed. We need to grow together in our relationship. It needs to be like a mutual connection, and then bonding, so like, for example, being in those safe settings, like for our mastermind group, where that's a safe setting for me to let my guard down, to really build that connection at a deeper level. I think it's really important. But really it's what you are attracting into your life, and letting go of the other part. And then it's your conversations that we're having, right? It's coming back to that positivity. We talked about negativity, and how we're very sensitive to negative people, and we need to limit that in our life or not engage with it, right? If it's happening and it doesn't serve us well, if we engage with it, then it's probably going to bring us down, right? So if possible, just leave it where it is. They're going to do what they're going to do. You just keep moving forward. That's what I would say.
And it comes down to the word that we always use, and that's intention. Being intentional with, how you spend your time, who you spend it with, and listening to like the little cues of how someone makes you feel. And also being intentional with your relationships. Am I calling someone just to gripe and complain, or do I just need to get something out and be like, okay, how can I handle this better? It's being very intentional with how your thought process is and what you want to get out of a relationship. And you don't want to bring the other person down either necessarily, but you can have those hard conversations.
Yeah.
And then the last, Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
go
So I'm sorry.
Nope, share the comment. That's fine. Yeah.
Michelle says, I was definitely drained after getting together with this gal. I even tried not to let her drive home after drinking, and she got upset with me. Yeah, that's
a hard one.
yeah.
But remember, it's their choice. We don't get to control other people, right? We can try to influence them and be a good friend and do what's right. But ultimately, people choose how they're going to move forward. And if that person doesn't value you in that relationship, and it's all about, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and that's it. And, that is hard to let go sometimes of, but you may, before you just totally walk away, I would say have the difficult conversation with them. They might not realize. Sometimes people don't realize how they are showing up because it's just how they've always been. So I would have the conversation and bring some awareness. And then if they choose to continue down that path, then that's their choice. But you have to protect yourself.
Absolutely. Well, let's bring Aaron back and see his thoughts, and then we can keep moving.
Yeah.
Awesome. Man, what a great conversation you guys just had, and all the shares. And yeah, so my comment there, my question, right? How do you cultivate that? You're right. What's the solution? Because I was kind of going off of what Michelle had said here too. She says, I hate to say it, but I'm jealous of the relationship that Tanya and Becky have. I've tried with this gal here, and that's where it kind of got into that.
And I missed that one.
No, that's okay. I think that it is really awesome, right? We get to see that relationship that you and Becky have, and I think a lot of us have that same feeling, Michelle. So you're not the only one that's jealous of that relationship. It's such a cool relationship that you guys have cultivated over time, right? I mean, obviously, there's got to be that connection there, but you guys don't live in the same town. I mean, what is it? 4 or 5 hour drive at least, right? Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you guys make it happen, right? You're cultivating that. That's what I always think about with relationships, right? I think we want to, our excitement, we want to have that best friend right away, but even the relationships that we have, if you think about it, it was built over time. Like even as kids, right? Okay, we're in the same class, but you start hanging out with them, you start realizing you've got some similar interests, and, sometimes those relationships don't last after the school. I mean, I think about Kylene and I, right? The people that we're friends with a lot of times are because of our kid, right? We're in the same sports, or, that kind of thing. So I think that people need to understand that these are not overnight things, but with the right amount of work and basically watering, right? You've got to cultivate it. You've got to grow that into a relationship. And I think, Tanya, you and Becky are a fantastic example of how that could look if you spend the time and do the things, right? So I think that's really awesome.
And I think because of the way the friendship occurred, I mean, the internet really opened up. I mean, I have friends all over the United States and Canada and everything else. And the way Becky and I met was through a Facebook group. And when Jay, before Jay got sick, she had reached out because I was doing a hockey tournament. And then when Jay was sick, she would reach out and check on me every day. And then we just grew it from there. And then it was like, okay, it's a manageable distance, so we can still we can get together too. And that's really important because I treasure those moments that I can actually have that in-person, that hug, whatever. And that's another reason why I'm so excited about the in-person event, is because it's great to have the relationships through this computer. I'm so grateful for the technology.
Sure.
But to be able to see someone, touch them, hug them, have that connection is truly very special. And I've been able to meet Michelle once too. And that was, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think, we all want to learn from you, Tanya, and, because I think, when you talk about your relationship with Becky, right, but it also started with the seed that you planted, right? You were willing to be vulnerable. You had a major situation going on, and I remember that time, you were very, very open and vulnerable, and that allowed people to say, I want to help, and you let them in. And so it is a two-way street. It's not, not that just Becky was reaching out all the time.
Right.
You do the same thing in return. So it is this two-way street. And I think we have to be open to that, right? Sometimes we want to force it. I know, I'm sitting there listening or reading Michelle's comments, and I'm going, man, I can't tell you how many times I've had that scenario where I'm just trying to force something that just isn't there. But as adults, we do have to be intentional about that, right? And when you're in school, you've got those opportunities when you have these things, but as adults, we have to be intentional about it. And it looks a little bit different when we're adults, right?
Yes.
We do have our friends that are our sons' parents, friends' parents, right? Kind of that kind of thing, or through sports or whatever. And yes, there's some relationships there, but not too many of them have the same kind of values that Kylene and I have, right? They've got the day job and they're just, kind of doing their thing, and which, again, all great stuff. But we have to be intentional about going, okay, I need to find people that want to fall in love with their business, right? I need to be intentional. So I think for me, a lot of it came back to when I finally realized I had to turn the mirror back on myself and go, okay, what am I putting out there, right? How am I? Because I hear all the time people go, oh, this drama, did you hear about that? I'm like, I didn't, and that's okay. I didn't want to. And therefore I've been really intentional about keeping myself out of those spaces.
Yes.
And then when I start to feel like there's more of that showing up, I go, okay, what am I doing to create that, to create, promote, or allow that? And it's a hard thing. And so again, sitting here watching, how you go about relationships, Kylene, you guys, how you shared with us, I think that was really an awesome segment. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I think just one more thing, because I know we need to move on, but you said vulnerability, and that's so true. When I decided, when Jay was sick, to really put things out there, and I've continued to do that with my weight loss surgery and things like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Things people have understood more. So where some people have gotten judgment on weight loss surgery as, oh, you took the easy way out, I've never had that said once to me, because I've educated on my journey. Not that it's going to be everyone else's journey, but it's promoted that conversation. And I've just tried to be authentically myself, and that will kind of take some of that out. At least it has for me.
Yeah,
if I'm not your person, they're not going to really interact with me. But if I inspire them in some way, then that helps cultivate that relationship too.
Yeah.
And granted, I'm more open about things than a lot of people would be. They're like, why do you share all that on whatever? And I'm like, well, why not? Maybe someone else is struggling with the same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's so awesome that you said that, because you are a fantastic example of that. I think that's an area that I struggle with a lot, is kind of opening up, right? Sometimes I feel like I have to be, at this certain standard. And even if I'm not really there internally, I gotta, press it down and push forward to be an example. But the reality is sometimes we just need to let it go. Right. So I'm trying to find ways to be more open and authentic. I think about your story. I giggled when you said, oh, somebody might think the easy way out. I'm like, man, hearing your story, if that's the easy way, I don't want the hard way.
Very true.
You've had to make massive changes throughout the course of your life, and all of these, you're choosing all these things all the time to be intentional about it. And that's work. All right. But it's worth it. Right. Look at you. You're in an amazing spot. And so congratulations.
The other thing I just want to point out is you started the work before you went through everything. Yes. So that is just coming back to the power of the mindset, and that you put yourself in the best place. You chose to show up and put yourself in a place for success and a good outcome. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's hear a quick word about the Fundamentals Live. Tanya's brought that up, and we'll do that. And then I don't know if we ever addressed the elephant in the room necessarily. I don't think we did, honestly. Sorry.
All right, Becky.
Becky is still part of the tribe. We're all good. We were just talking about Becky, and she's not here. Poor Becky's not feeling great right now, and so she's like, I need to get some rest, and we were like, yes, just feel better. So I've got Uncommon Mindset, but it might be a little bit shorter. So let's hear about Fundamentals Live. We'll get into Uncommon Mindset, and then we'll have Becky back with us next week. So you guys ready for the? All right, here we go. Hey there, fellow small business owner. I'm sure you've heard the buzz about the upcoming Fundamentals Live event. It's not just an event or training, it's a game changer for entrepreneurs like you, hosted in O'Fallon, Missouri. Well, it's time to reignite that spark and love what you're doing again. I want to give a gift to the very interested people out there who are ready to sign up today. When you sign up before April 15th, you get an amazing no-charge gift. It's 6 virtual milestone meetings after the event. We're going to start on June 14th. Every Friday, there's going to be a bi-weekly meeting to keep your momentum going if you sign up before April 15th for the Fundamentals Live. Are you in? Are you ready for the gift? Head over to osg.link/funlive to get more information and sign up today. Let's make it happen. All right. So don't miss out on that gift if you're a very interested person. We're 5 days away from that deadline there. So make sure that you get signed up, osg.link/funlive. All right. Well, shall we dive into some Uncommon Mindset here?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. All right. Well, welcome into Uncommon Mindset. And again, rolling solo today. So hopefully Becky can watch the replay and translate for you guys afterwards. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So what I wanted to talk to you guys today about in the Uncommon Mindset is just been thinking a lot about goals, right? What does that mean? I've been thinking a lot about goals because we just completed the first quarter of the year. And one of the things that I do, one of the parts of the process that I put in place for myself is I want to make sure that I go back and review that first quarter. And that comes with a lot of like introspection. Is this the right goal? What do I need to adjust? Did I put in enough effort? Right? Really just trying to be honest with myself. And, so that always causes asking others around me, right? Like, how are you doing with your goals? Right. And so for those of you guys that are tuned in right now, I want to hear that from you. How are you doing with your goals? How are you feeling right now when it comes to I'm on track, I'm not on track, right? Because some of the answers I'm getting fairly common. Again, this has been where I've felt a lot of times too. I felt this throughout the year last year. They're feeling a little bit behind, right? They're feeling like, and my nature is to go, okay, well, why? Right. And I know that drives some people crazy, but that's what's required to get into the depth of what we need to overcome. Right? Because if we keep trying to do the same thing over and over again and just keep assuming that it's going to work, even though you're doing the exact same thing you've always done, right? That's the definition of insanity. So I don't want anybody to be insane here. So I'm curious again, how are you doing? Are you on track? Is things good? Or are you a little bit scared? Like, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. I don't know how I'm ever going to achieve what I'm trying to achieve with my business, my personal life, my weight loss journey, whatever it is, right? That's the great part is this works across the board. Obviously I love talking about small businesses, but the cool part is this can work for anything that you're trying to accomplish in your life. And what I've seen is that the challenges kind of come from, I don't want to say lack, right? But it really is a lack of action. And when I say lack, it's like not enough action towards the right things, right? Maybe you're really busy, but maybe you're really busy achieving what somebody else wants for you or wants of you, right? Or maybe you're really busy just doing without actually knowing why you're doing it, right? And we don't take action because we don't know what action to take, maybe, right? Maybe that's where some folks are at, or and that really stems from the fact that we don't truly understand what our goals are and why they are. Right? And so what I've discovered personally and what I've seen in others that really kind of become achievers, goal getters, as opposed to just goal setters, is they share more, right? They have more deep discussions about, okay, why, right? Okay, this isn't working. Okay, why? Or this is working. Why? And how can I do more of that? They get into, okay, what is my goal clear to you? Right? Because if it's not clear to you, then it's probably not clear in general, right? Meaning I'm having these deeper conversations. So I guess to really kind of sum up the entirety of what the uncommon mindset is that I wanted to talk about today is the uncommon mindset is when things aren't going well, the common mindset is to just go hide, come down back into our shell, go into our cave, right? The old caveman days, cavemen and women days, and either work harder, grind, right? Beat yourself up over it. That's the common mindset. But the uncommon mindset is to lean into it and go, okay, it's not working. I'm good with that. I know I could pick out, right? As humans, we're really good at the protection mechanism, the defense mechanism. Okay, here's why I didn't do that. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Understandable. I agree, right? But my inquisitive nature, my deep desire to always find a solution makes me go, okay, great. I understand. You're totally justified in that. I wish that didn't happen to you. I have a hard time staying there too long, though, right? The uncommon mindset I see is we got to go, okay, great. Now let's move forward. Let's look ahead. What can we learn from that? What structures can we put in place? And I think a big part of that is just leaning in instead, being vulnerable, like we talked about with the relationships there, understanding, right? And this can be in a lot of different ways, right? Maybe where you're at is like just going in a little bit deeper into discussion in a Facebook group, right? That's where you're at. We talked about kind of the people around you, right? The success team. You got to lean into your success team a little bit more. That's part of cultivating that relationship, right? Tanya talked about that, right? The willingness to be vulnerable is part of it, right? Maybe it's you've got to lean into your mentors a little bit more. I don't have a mentor. Okay, ask. There's plenty of people out there willing to help you if you'll ask. Because here's what the deal is the responsibility lies on your shoulders. At the end of the day, the responsibility lies on your shoulders, right? I had a pity party not too long ago that, oh man, I just wish somebody would reach their hand out and try to help me up, right? At times. And the reality was there was plenty of people doing that. I just wasn't looking for it, right? And then people start showing up, right? The same thing was happening when Becky and Tanya showed up in my life, right? So Kylene made a really good point to me that, people show up in the time when you're ready for them. And then sometimes right. So I just look at that. Now, why I think this is really important to discuss is that when we start achieving our goals, when we can start saying, yeah, I'm on track, things are good, right? That's when we start falling deeper in love with our business, right? Because come on, how can you not love a celebration, right? How can you not love being able to go, man, I'm kind of proud of myself, right? I'm not saying go to the ego, to the ego side of like, oh my gosh, I'm the most amazing thing. Like I'm saying I am proud of what I've accomplished because I did the thing with the help. I'm appreciative of the help and support, right? That's what makes you happy is to be able to have those accomplishments, the pats on the back. And here's the other benefit of it. When we're proud, when we're in that mode of feeling accomplished, guess what happens? We're inspired to do more, right? That dopamine hit that we get in that moment of celebration immediately signals our brain to go, okay, yep, we love that. Let's do more of that. How did we do that? Oh, yeah. Okay. I leaned into my success team. I took actions outside of my comfort zone. Okay. I'm going to give you now, Aaron, the energy to do that, right? So we get into this state of flow, and that brings even more joy and love. And ultimately you get to a point where you say, I get to do this, right? If you're in a state where you have to do these things, right? And those have tos are not going to go away. So don't think I'm trying to say that everything has to be a get to, but the more that we can look at the opportunities that we have in front of us is I get to do, right? Because if your business doesn't feel like it's something you get to do, then maybe it's not the right thing for you. And I know that's a hard thing to hear. It probably is, but you got to be willing to get outside of your comfort zone, to lean up against your comfort zone, to get to that point where you get to do it. Right. And so I think that's an interesting distinction that we need to make. And back to the relationships that Tanya and Kylene were talking about, right? To achieve goals, we've got to have the support and the accountability to get there. Success is a team sport. You've heard me say it before. I'll say it 100 more times. Success is a team sport, right? And Darren says all those things, probably talking about where he's at, right? I felt behind until I re-examined my goals list. I actually could check some things off. Awesome. Right there. There's that honesty, going back and having that self realization, that reflection, right? That's why for me, I do that quarterly, because I do want to make sure that I really do truly understand where the feelings are coming from, good, bad, or indifferent. So going back to the fact that success is a team sport, we need that support. We need that accountability. And, so real quick, I just want to break down, and I don't have a whole bunch more here for you guys, but I've got a few other things. So accountability is not making a to-do list and checking off boxes, right? Because those are the have-tos. I have to do that. Accountability is being inspired to do the hard things. But for you to be inspired to do the hard things and get that accountability, whether that's external or internal, it does require that open, honest conversation with yourself, right? Are you willing to have that conversation saying, am I really doing what I could be doing? Right? Not what I should be doing. We don't need to should on ourselves, but that honest conversation about, could I do more? And if the answer is yes, then going, okay, cool, right? That's an inspiring, okay, I can do more. I could do more. Therefore, I can do more, right? Because if I should have done it, I can't change that. That's a past, right? I can't go back into the past and change the past. I've not discovered a time machine yet, right? So, but the could is the future. If you could do it, then you can do it, right? So accountability is not, not about hiding in shame. Losing my voice here a little bit. It started happening to me last night too. So ultimately, for accountability to work, you have to invest, right? You have to invest in the honesty. You have to invest in the challenge of overcoming the limiting beliefs. It's an investment, and investments require sacrifice, right? Not justifications or excuses, right? And again, not saying that those justifications aren't valid, and they absolutely are, but it comes back to having an honest assessment. Right. And coming back to the very top of this whole goals conversation, do you have clear goals? That's the first honest assessment you should have. And they might be desires, which is great, but you can't achieve desires, right? We can hope and dream for those, but goal achievement requires action, right? And therefore we have to have very clear goals and understand why those goals are there, right? So again, how are you feeling about your progress? Are you on track? Are you struggling? Right? If you're on track, let's celebrate that together. Put it in here. Tell me what you achieved. Right? If you're watching the replay, put in an accomplishment that you achieved in the first quarter. Right? I've got plenty that I feel like I've achieved. Right? We've got the fundamentals live out there. We've got the structure. It's there. It's going to happen. Right? That was a big project. It took a lot of help. It took a lot of people coming together. It took the Fab Four being committed to it as well. Right. So it wasn't just something that I accomplished, but that doesn't mean I can't be proud of it. Right. We're proud of it together. That's one thing. I've been able to share a bunch. The book is out there, the feedback that I'm getting on the book and being able to share that. So, lots of great things happening in the first quarter. Am I to my full 2024 goals yet? No, but that's okay. Right. So I'm celebrating that. So let's celebrate that stuff together. Now, the flip side of that might be, are you struggling? Right. And again, I hate to be the squeaky wheel here, but the reality is if you're struggling, it comes back to, you got to be honest with yourself. right? Because as I talked about before, there are people out there that want to give you a hand up. You're just not willing to meet them there, right? Meaning you have to ask, you have to be able to be willing to make that investment. You have to be willing to say, yes, I'm open to listening to you. Because if somebody is trying to give you a hand up, somebody's trying to give you some help or advice, and then you just basically want to argue with them the whole time, okay, nothing wrong with that. That may be just how you are right now. But that person's not going to be there to help you for very long, right? They're going to have to reevaluate. They're going to have their own honest assessment with that relationship and go, okay, is this serving me? Because helping somebody up, it does serve them just as much as it serves you, right? If you're the one being helped up. But the reality is it's still a relationship, which is a two-way street. So once you let go of the justifications, and here's the bad news I hate to break to you, that whatever got you off track, it will happen again, right? So what are you going to change to make sure that the next time something similar happens doesn't derail you as much as it did the last time, right? I mean, I can think about all types of experiences in my life where, I still have that need to go, well, here's why. Okay, great. And I'm not saying let go of that, right? We want to understand that part of it. But the longer I stay there and don't go into what's the solution, the longer I'm going to stay there, right? So be honest with yourself, have clear goals, start reigniting that self-trust by investing enough to do what you say you're going to do. Are you focused enough? Do you have systems to keep you focused? Do you need to take a chance on yourself, right? That's a hard one. Tanya mentioned it earlier, recovering people pleasers, taking a chance on ourselves. That's a hard thing. Right? Make time to focus on solutions instead of finding those justifications. Make time to invest in something and figure out a way to make that investment happen. Oh man, that sounds great. It would really help me, but I've got all these things. Okay, perfect. No problem. If you have all those things, guess what? You're going to have all those things. And so if that's the priority, that's the priority, right? But then you can't go and say, well, but I can't achieve my goals. Okay, you got to change things then. If right, we have to make a change. So share your goals, talk about your goals. And I'm going to leave you with this. The number one action if you want to be a goal getter. And my book proves this to be true, right? Is share your goals, talk about your goals, get feedback on your goals, take action, get feedback on the actions. What is the most important goal that you're going to achieve this year? Share that, right? Share it. Put it out there, pop it in there. And with that being said, I'm going to bring Tanya and Kylene back in here. I know we're pushing it, but I wanted to cover all those things. So here we go. Back to the stage here. Hello, welcome back. So, A, share your goals. but B, what's your take?
I mean, I think it's huge what you just talked about, and I mean, obviously you and I have talked a lot about this, but really being clear about what it is that you want to achieve, and then if you're not doing the things to achieve that, being honest with yourself. And that's the part I think that for me, I have been justifying a lot, and so I've had that awareness and accountability. But the point that you had about, the people that you're attracting, you share your goal, you attract these people in your life that want to help you up. Like Tanya is an example for that. She got me connected with her MOBA group, which was awesome. So I can share yoga with that many people. But guess what? I was so hesitant to say yes. I was scared. It really was outside my comfort zone, but it is getting me closer to my big goal, which is to share 1,000 mindset and wellness with yoga people this year by December 31st. And so it's helping me get closer to that goal. So I'm grateful for that, but I was hesitant to do that.
Love it.
And all of this, the have to versus get to is very, I have to remember that all the time.
You get to remember that? Sorry. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I'm
No,
totally kidding.
True.
I couldn't help myself.
And I also need to, like, my my choose has been to take action, because I have a tendency to do everything for everyone else and get derailed and not take action on the things that I want to do, that I get to do. And so it's a really great reminder that, you know, you can be successful, but you still have to take all the actions and the steps. And sometimes I struggle with that. And so as long as you keep remembering it and working towards it, you're being successful. But there are days that I'm just like, why am I not getting this? But it's okay if you're not getting it. You're still moving towards your stuff, and you're learning.
100%.
And that comes with being a recovering people pleaser too. I still tend to people please more than what I would personally like.
But here's the cool part, Tanya, is you're recognizing that, you're being honest with yourself, you're taking the actions because there is not, we can't just flip the switch, right? There's no, it's not going to happen. And I love what you just shared there, because as a recovering people pleaser myself, once we start focusing on our goals, right? What I talked about, that we get into that state of flow where we're coming from a different place, we're actually more productive. So we can still do all the things for everybody else. We just have to flip the order of it, right? Because then when we get the things done that we need to do for ourselves, we get to do, right? I caught myself as well. When we get to do those things, then we get to help other people too. And that's more productive. We're more help. We're better help for them. It just opens up things. We expand, and I think that's such an important point that you made there.
Absolutely, great segment.
Awesome. Well, what a great entire segment today. The entire OSG Live. We definitely missed Becky, but I think we did a pretty good job here. In fact, we think we did a great job. I just wanted to bring in Michelle's comment here real quick. Action is my word for the year. I just haven't shared my goals much. Okay. Well, here's a great opportunity, Michelle. Pop it right in here. Reach out to us. Put it in. Like I made a note the other day, and I'm going to be reaching out to all the MOS folks. I don't know if I know what everybody's goal is this year, and as the facilitator of Masters of Success, that's on me. I need to know that. So just giving you guys fair warning, I will be asking. All right, Tanya. Well,
figure that out.
All right. Well, there you go. So that's why I gave you a warning.
Awesome.
No, and then we'll work it out together. That's the other part of that success team, right? So, all right, Tanya. Well, let's close this out, please.
All right. OSG on ICE. ICE stands for Inspire, Collaborate, and Encourage. And that came about during my husband's heart attack. And through that also came choose. I believe that you can choose what you need as often as you need it. So you might start off the day choosing action, and you might end the day choosing forgiveness or, some other thing. It really serves me well to be intentional with recognizing what I need and what I'm going to choose. It gives me that power back. And I encourage everyone else to do that too. I do not have my choose board today because I was anticipating going down to the office, but I am going to continue to choose action. Because that is serving me well right now, and it's reminding me that I need to do things to move forward. So I'm curious as to what everyone else is choosing this week and what you're going to commit to.
Yes. Well, I can share mine. I am choosing hope and joy. I really need to stay hopeful, and I want to bring in and attract as much joy in what I'm doing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. Be authentic, right? I think I heard that throughout the conversation today, and not that I'm faking it per se, but I'm going to a networking event today, and I am not a networking person. It just is not my comfort zone at all. This is super far out of my comfort zone, and a lot of times I think one of the challenges there is that other people aren't really comfortable with it either, and so then they've got their pitch where they tell you their name, what they do, and then, and by the way, my name is like, I get it, right? I know that you want me to remember your name, but how about we just connect? And if it's something where we connect, then I'll remember your name. But just because you had your perfectly curated pitch, right? So anyways, I just want to make sure that I show up as me, not some fake person trying to be somebody that I'm not. So that's the goal today. I get to do that. All right.
Awesome. And you know that it's not your strong suit, so you will go into it, giving it more of a try and and things. So that's saying something right there. Michelle says, today I choose to focus to complete my task and action on my goals, which I love that. I love that.
Yeah. And Chuck did say, I know we're getting into bonus time here, but Chuck said, not sure I have set a definitive goal. I need to. Yeah, absolutely. Just going back to that real quick, and I won't belabor this too long. It is totally okay if you don't have that clear goal, right? We have to talk through it, right? We have to do that, right? We get to do that work together, but it is a together thing, right? So it all starts with just sharing. Okay, well, tell me what your desire is then. And then we can start asking those why questions and turn that into an actual goal. So, yeah, perfect. All right. What do we, I guess, close this out here, Kylene? I know you're ready to run.
Yeah. The messages are coming in. I am just very thankful, and we're all very thankful for all of you joining us here on OSG Live. We're open to feedback still, so please reach out to us if there's a topic you want us to discuss with you on here. Let us know. We are open, but we're just really thankful for all of you joining us today.
Love it. Well, you guys did an awesome job. Thank you so much. And have a great rest of your Wednesday. And we will see you all back here next Wednesday for another amazing episode of OSG Live.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.